Hello everybody and welcome to Saturday's lesson. Every Saturday the plan is to focus on the Cambridge B2 First Certificate exam. I really enjoy teaching this exam. I have maybe 10, 11 years experience preparing this exam and I think it's very interesting. So I hope you can enjoy. I hope that you are maybe preparing for the exam. Fantastic, but also it's a very good way to learn English in general anyway. So that's my intention, to try and find people who are preparing for the exam, and hopefully I can help. Let's begin. Today we will look at the topic of use of English, and specifically we will look at part 2. So in my previous lessons I have explained all the different parts of the exam, and in the last lesson we focused specifically on part 1. Here you can see part 1 of the use of English. So the reading and use of English is just one category, one paper of the exam. There's two subjects, reading and use of English, but they are combined on the one paper. So in the first certificate level there are three, let me double check, there are 3 readings. Part 5, part 6, part 7 are all reading. So there's 3 reading parts and there's 4 use of English parts. Use of English really is grammar. They are grammar exercises, small grammar exercises, and very interesting in my opinion. The first exercise is multiple choice. We have an article from a book, a journal, a magazine, a newspaper, and we have 4 options per question and 8 questions with multiple choice for each section. Last week I was sick, but the previous week we focused on part 1, and today we move to the second part. People in general say the second part is the most problematic. People say the second part is the most difficult. I don't know. I personally enjoy it, and today I will try to give you some of my tips and advice about preparing and doing this particular part. So it's called the open close. Technical name is open close. So there's 8 questions and there's 8 marks available. So there's 1 mark per question. Okay. And the structure is very similar. So let me show you. The best way to start is to show you the example here. So last lesson, we spoke about part 1, what is genealogy, but today is part 2. And this is the structure. It's an ordinary article from a magazine, ordinary from a book, a journal. It could be anywhere. The topic is motorbike stunt rider. Okay, so it's a very specific topic and a little tricky, but you can see this is the structure, and we have 8 spaces. We have no options. This is the difference compared to part 1. Part 1 you have multiple choice, 4 options for every question, but for part 2 we have no option. We must select from our memory, from our vocabulary, the most appropriate and correct grammatical word for the exercise. Normally it's a grammatical feature such as an article, indefinite article, definite article, preposition, relative pronoun, possessive adjective, object pronoun. It could be something grammatical like this: auxiliary verb, modal verb, phrasal verb. That's the typical content for the answers, not vocabulary that is strange. No, it's more grammatical and basic grammatical structures. That's very important. And that's it. So after that explanation, you have to try. You must try and do this and think logically. So today we will explain this exercise, and I have another exercise as well to practice 2 full exercises today, and I will try to help with the vocabulary. I will try to help with the grammar and the tips as well. During the lesson, if you have a question, please leave your question in the chat. The idea is to have an interactive lesson, an interactive class. So I am available to answer any of your questions, any of your doubts, any other queries that you have. I am available to answer. You can put your question in the Facebook chat and I will be able to see your question here, for example. Okay, so fantastic. For example, Ploy, good morning, good afternoon, and thank you for your comment. So today, Ploy, we are focusing on the Cambridge exam. And as I said, people are free to comment here in the chat and I can answer any doubts that you have. Second, the connection. I hope the connection is strong. I hope the connection is fine. And please keep me updated about the connection. So hopefully that is everybody. So good morning or good afternoon, Ploy, and thank you so much for connecting and commenting again. So thank you so much, and I hope you will enjoy this exercise. Also, I think I have notes here available if necessary. I can make some notes at the same time, but we begin. So the first word that is difficult is a stunt. And you can see here the word is a stunt. It's very difficult vocabulary. A stunt is like a performance or a act or a trick. And a motorbike stunt rider basically is the motorbike rider who performs these dramatic acts, dangerous acts, but very dramatic, and that's a motorbike stunt rider. Very difficult because the word stunt is very flexible in English. Informally, we can say that is a little stunt and it means a little trick, or you're trying to cheat or to trick somebody. It's a little stunt, like a scam. So in the movies you have a stunt actor, and this is the actor who takes the place of the main principal actor because the stunt is very dangerous. Okay, so let's begin. I'll read the instructions first so you're familiar with part 2. For questions 9 to 16, read the text below and think of one word which best fits each gap. Only use one word. Okay, so one word is only necessary in each gap. And the example is 0. So the answer for 0 is as. So for instance, I work as a motorbike stunt rider. In your profession, it's typical as. You work as a teacher. You work as a doctor. You work as a nurse. So for profession and job, it's typical work as. So let's read. A motorbike stunt rider. That is, I do tricks, lots of different tricks or stunts, on my motorbike at shows. A show is a performance or a meeting, an event. The Le Mans or Le Mans racetrack in France was something. I first saw some guys doing motorbike stunts. I had never seen anyone riding a motorbike using just the back wheel before, and I was something impressed. I went straight home and taught to do the same. It wasn't very long before I began to earn my living at shows performing my own motorbike stunts. I have a degree, space, mechanical engineering. This helps me to look at physics. Something lies behind each stunt. In addition to being responsible for design changes to the motorbike, I have to work every stunt I do. People often think that my work is very dangerous, but apart space, some minor mechanical problem happening occasionally during a stunt, nothing ever goes wrong. I never feel in space kind of danger because I'm very experienced. Okay, very interesting exercise. Maybe it's the opportunity for you in the text to put your answer. Already, if you think you have an answer for the space, write your answer in the text with the number. For example, number 10 and your answer. That's a possibility in the chat, and I can just check here as well if necessary. So perfect. Crew, ma'am, thank you so much for connecting. And your question, crew, how many classes? Well, recently 23 lessons per week. It's an amazing number. It's really high. 23 lessons per week, 4 lessons per day. So today on Saturday we have 3. But next week, I think a little less, maybe 3 per day next week. But a lot, basically a lot. So thank you for connecting. Different topics as well. And the topic today is the Cambridge exam. So let us look at the first paragraph to try and find the correct answer. Okay, first, the Le Mans racetrack in France was something I first saw. What do you think is the possible answer? So the place, the racetrack, the location in France, this was the location I first saw, the place, the location, but not possible because we only have one word. Okay, so we need a word that represents the place, the location, and in my mind, yes, I have the answer already. I have the answer in my mind for number 9 because it's a word that substitutes, that represents the place or the location. Okay, and it's tricky because it's possible substitution for place or location, but it's also possible a word to substitute for time, the first time. So I have two options. Okay, I'll give you the answer in my opinion. What do you think? For me, I think it's the relative pronoun. Grammatically, it's the relative pronoun. And a relative pronoun here is that, which, where, when. And I think the answer here is where. In France was where. It's the location where I first saw. The location I first saw. Second possibility is when. The racetrack was when, but no, I think it's the location because it's a racetrack. So I would suggest the correct answer is where. Okay, where I first saw some guys doing motorbike stunts. I had never seen, so this is the past perfect, I had never seen anyone riding a motorbike using only just the back wheel before, and I was, so the verb to be in the past, impressed. Adjective, I was impressed. Perfect. But we need an extra word here. And straight home means directly home, immediately home. Straight home, immediately home. And the consequence of being impressed, he was impressed, and the consequence of being impressed, he went home and taught. This is the verb to teach. Teach English, teach mathematics, teach geography. In the past, it's irregular, taught. Teach, taught. Irregular verb in the past. To do the same. So this is difficult. So normally we teach a person. I teach you. You teach me. Normally, with teach, we have a person. You teach me, I teach you. But it's possible reflexive. Okay, it is possible reflexive. For example, you teach yourself English. This means you study English yourself. You have no help, no support. You teach yourself English. So it is possible reflexive. And for me, number 11 is reflexive pronoun, and taught myself to do the same. So I saw the activity and I went home immediately to practice and to try and to teach myself. For me, this is logical. And remember, straight home means immediately home. So the consequence of seeing the stunt, he was impressed. And the consequences of impressed, he went home. So what do you think is a possible answer for number 10? I think it's a type of intensifier. So the adjective is impressed, but so impressed that he went home. So for me, the correct answer for number 10 is so. For instance, at the moment, now it's 11 o'clock. At the moment, I am so hungry that I could eat 3 pizzas. So the consequence of my hunger is eating 3 pizzas. And we typically say so. I am so tired that I could sleep for 2 days. So for me, this is the same structure here. I was so impressed. I went home and taught myself. So that's number 9, number 10, number 11. Number 9, I think it's where. Number 10 is so. And number 11 is myself. So let me write this. 9, so we remember. 10, 11. Number 9 is where. Number 10 is so. And number 11 is myself, I think. Next. Number second, the next sentence. It wasn't a long time before I began to earn my living. So the verb is to begin. It's irregular in the past. Begin, began, begun. To earn my living is a typical expression as well. We normally say to make a living or to earn a living. To earn money, you earn your salary and you earn a living or you make a living. Okay, that's the first paragraph and I am relatively happy with the answers. Second paragraph, I have a degree. A degree is typical for university. There's different levels of education. You can have primary school, secondary school, university, and in university you have a degree and you have a master's and maybe a PhD, a doctorate. So there's different levels and the degree is in university. Mechanical engineering probably is the topic, the subject of the degree. So in English, what is the typical structure of the sentence with degree? Well, normally, we say, I have a degree in mathematics. I have a degree in geography. I have a degree in French. Normally, it is connected with the preposition in. I have a master's in geography. I have a master's in education. In. So for me, the best answer here is the preposition in. I have a master's in mechanical engineering. This master's, this education, this degree helps me to look at the physics is the topic. You're looking at the physics lies behind. So this is difficult. I need to explain because the verb to lie has different meanings. The first significance to lie is when the person does not tell the truth. If the person is dishonest, the person is lying. That's the first significance and very common. So when you lie, you do not tell the truth. Second significance is when you are tired and you want to go to bed, you want to lie horizontal, you want to lie down. That's the second significance, the position, to lie on your bed, to lie on the sofa, to lie down. And in this case, it's position and location. So for example, the supermarket lies at the end of the street. The position of the supermarket is at the end of the street. It lies behind. And this sentence is very interesting. So the physics that lie behind each stunt. So people see the performance, they see the stunt, but they don't understand the difficulty, the practice that's positioned behind the scenes, behind the stunt. So that's very difficult, but it's very important English and very intermediate to advanced. So the physics lies behind the stunt. That's the sentence. So the subject is physics and the verb is lies behind, so we're okay. But we need another word grammatically. So really we need repetition of the subject. And the way to repeat the subject frequently is the relative pronoun. You remember the relative pronouns? Which, who, that, where, when. Similar to number 9. Number 9, France, the racetrack is the place. And the substitution, the repetition for the place is where. The place where, the track where. This is the person who. This was the person who I was mentioning. So they are relative pronouns, and that's a grammatical point of relative pronouns. So number 13, I think, is another opportunity for a relative pronoun. The typical relative pronouns are which and that. So for me, I think the two are possible. The physics which lies behind each stunt, or that lies behind each stunt. I think the two are acceptable, and that would be number 13. That or which. So number 12, in. Okay, I have a degree in. My opinion. Of course, I might be mistaken. I might have an error. Let's continue. In addition to, also, as well, in addition to being responsible for design changes to the motorbike, I have to, so obligation, I must, I have to work every stunt I do. Okay, so here's the obligation. You have to, you must work. So it looks very simple. It looks very, very simple. Number 14 looks very simple. And it is if you know the answer. And in English, connected with the verb to work, we have two prepositions. We can say I work on my project. If I work on my project, I try to improve my project. I work on my French. I try to improve my French. I work on my speech. I try to improve my speech. So the combination work on means to improve. The second possibility is the preposition at. It's possible to work at my French. The same significance, to improve. I work at my geography. I try to improve. So the two prepositions work on and work at have the significance to improve, try to improve. And for me, that's absolutely perfect and appropriate here. Number 14, to work at every stunt I do, or to work on, to improve. I would suggest on, just a little bit more comfortable. But you must remember the possible combination work on and work at, meaning to improve. Very important, very fluent English. You work at your geography, you try to improve, okay? So I think number 14 is work on. As I said, there's two possibilities, work on or work at, I think. Okay, and that for me is the best answer for number 14. Again, here we have the verb I do, and I do what? So do is the substitution for the stunt. You're performing a stunt, and there is a difference between do and make, and in English it's very important, the difference between do and make. Do is generally activity. You do your homework, you do the shopping, activity, activity, activity. Make is a creation. You make a cake. So the stunt, you perform, the verb to perform a stunt or to do a stunt. They're the typical verbs we have with the noun a stunt. You do a stunt or you perform a stunt. Okay, let's continue. My nose is very itchy. I don't know why. Very, very itchy. Okay, next sentence. People often excuse me, people often, regularly, frequently think that my work is very dangerous. That's the public opinion. But apart, and this is a classic combination in English, apart, space, minor mechanical problem happening occasionally during a stunt, nothing ever goes wrong. Apart. What is the typical combination with apart? There is in English a typical combination with apart, and it's very important and very common. For instance, everybody is going to the party. Everybody is going to the party except for John. And another way to say except for is apart. But we have another combination with apart. So everybody is going to the party apart the Michael. So the combination that is important here, maybe you have the answer. What do you think is the answer? For me, it's very obvious. Apart from, apart from, apart from, always, almost always, apart from. Everybody is going to the party apart from Stephen, which has the significance except for. So I think clearly number 15 is apart from, and this is a typical combination in these exams. Okay, in these use of English exams, it is very, very typical to say apart from. Okay, and it's very, very important, very important. So in the sentence, apart from some minor problem, except for some minor problem, nothing ever goes wrong, nothing ever happens. Okay, number 16, I never feel, and I'll just move that here. Number 16, I never feel in. That's the very important clue. The preposition in is connected to danger. You are in danger, in difficulty, in problems, but really it's typical in danger. You are in danger, you are in difficulty. Okay, you're in danger and you're in difficulty. So I never feel in danger, but extra kind of danger. Kind is a type, sort. There's three possibilities. Kind, type, sort. For example, what kind of coffee do you like? What sort of coffee do you like? What type of coffee do you like? Type, sort, kind are very, very similar. So I never feel in. What do you think is the correct answer for number 16? What do you think is the best option for number 16? I never feel in kind of danger. For me, there's only one possibility, and the correct answer is any. Any type of danger, any sort of danger, any kind of danger. So I never feel in any kind of danger because I am experienced. Okay, and I think that could be the correct answer. Questions. Do you have a question? Let me check the Facebook comment. So let me see. And oh, you can hear my dog again. So sorry. He's very loud. I'll give him one moment, and if he continues, I need to move. So thank you for the questions. Yep. And oh, sorry, I don't want to put your information on the screen. So Pom Lee, thank you, Pom Lee, for your comment, and thank you for watching, Pom Lee. I hope you're enjoying the lesson as well. So thank you so much, and we continue a little. So I think They are all the answers for this exercise. And this exercise is part 2 of the exam, specifically of the use of English. Remember the category and the position. This is the use of English, and this is the second part. Let's check the answers. So I moved to the answers at the bottom, and we tried to find the answers for exactly what we had. Okay, here are the answers. And the correct answer is correct. Number 9 is where, 10 so, 11 myself, 12 in, 13 that which, 14 work on, work at, or work out. The phrasal verb combination work out means to discover the answer. You work out the problem, so it is possible. 15 apart from, and 16 any. Okay, well done everybody. That was very, very good, and it's a really good example of the use of English. And I tried to zoom out. I don't know why I can't zoom out. Let me try to move this here. Yeah, I'll try to. There we go. Okay, so that was very good practice for the exam. That's part 2. Now we can try another example. But remember, next week we move to part 3. Next lesson, next Saturday, we move to part 3. Part 3 is different. Part 3, you have the word on the right, and it's necessary to change the form of the word. This is part 3, and it's a little different. And next week we discuss part 3. But today, now we do the second part, second exercise of the same exam. And here you can see another exam, another exercise. This is the same, exactly the same structure, and the topic is a bicycle you can fold up. So maybe you are tired, maybe you need a rest, maybe you need a break, and maybe not. So we continue anyway. And as I said, maybe I need to let my dog is in the garden, and maybe I need to go and open the door for the dog to enter. So this title of the text is a bicycle you can fold up. The verb to fold is very important. Fold your arms, fold the table, fold the clothes. When you're finished washing the clothes or drying the clothes, you need to fold the clothes. So a bicycle you can fold up. Interesting, very interesting. So let's read a little. Folding bicycles have been, so the first answer is been, you can see 0. This is the present perfect, have been around in existence for quite some time, for a lot of time now. However, an amazing new Japanese version be folded with a swiftness and efficiency never seen before. So swift is the adjective, and the significance is very fast. So adjective, swift, you are very swift, you're very fast. The name of a little bird in English is a swift. A swift is a bird that is very fast. In Ireland, in Dublin, there is a boat that travels between Dublin and Liverpool, Dublin and Wales. The name of the boat is the Swift because it's very fast. So the noun is swiftness, and basically it's the difference between the adjective and the noun. So very simple difference between the adjective swift and the noun swiftness. In this case, the bike with speed, velocity, swiftness means velocity and speed, and efficiency never seen before. Number 9, what do you think is the possible correct answer for number 9? What do you think? I know the answer. I am happy I have the answer, yes. But let's continue. This bike, this specific bike, is designed something that it is possible to fold the bicycle, up quickly. This is very important as well. Number 10. Do you have an idea for the answer for number 10? I have an idea. We continue. Once folded, you pull the bike along, something ease. So ease is the verb, to ease. It's related to easy. So the significance is to go slowly, to ease. For instance, you start the week and you start the week very easy, and this means you ease the verb to ease into the week. If you ease into the week, this means that you start the week very, very easy. Okay, so the verb is to ease into. You can ease off, and this means to reduce the intensity, to reduce the pressure. So the verb to ease is very important. And in this situation, also it is the noun, ease. And do you have an idea? What do you think is the idea for possible answer for number 11? Okay, we continue a little. We continue all the text. This remarkable bike has a half folding frame with a hinge in the middle. And although the basic idea is something original, its inventor has created an especially clever variation, combining compactness, convenience with smart design. Recently, folding bicycles become very popular in Japan, particularly in congested urban areas like Tokyo, a city space. Every square centimeter of space is in great demand. Japanese cyclists need to be able to store their bikes in tiny areas at home or the office, and space. They should want to take their bicycle on the underground. A folding model is a big advantage. Okay, some difficult vocabulary also. Number 9. An amazing new Japanese version has the ability. Number 9 is similar to having the ability to be folded. And we have the verb to be, but no to. Normally to be, but no, because of the rule after a modal verb. After a modal verb, we eliminate to. Might be, may be, could be, should be, must be, can be. So I think number 9 is a modal verb. The most appropriate modal verb for ability is can. So the Japanese version has the ability, can be folded. Okay, so number 9 I think definitely is can be. Okay, number 10. Again, with a swiftness. Swiftness means velocity, a speed and efficiency never seen before. This bike is designed. It is possible to fold it up quickly. Number 10 is tricky, but there's only one possible answer, in my opinion. Very similar to the previous exercise. For the consequence, you remember, I am so hungry I could eat my 3 pizzas. I am so hungry that I could eat 3 pizzas. So for me, this is the same with the consequences. So the design, the consequence of the design is you have the possibility to fold it quickly. So for me, number 10 is so that. For instance, I am buying some milk so that I can enjoy my breakfast. The consequence, so that. So number 10, I think clearly is so. okay, so that it is possible to fold it quickly. Once folded, you pull it along easily, but it's not the adverb, we have the noun, therefore we need another word to make this sentence comfortable, and the only option for number 11 is with ease. Okay, and this is very, very famous. For instance, you can play the piano with ease. You can climb the mountain with ease. The significance is easily, but this is another way to write this with ease. So that's very famous combination, with ease. Number 12. This remarkable, amazing, wonderful bike has a half folding frame. So the frame of your glasses, the frame of a bicycle, the picture frame. So frame is very important, and the frame of the bicycle, it's possible to half fold. Hinge, very important vocabulary. A hinge is the object that connects the two frames. So if you have a piece of wood, two pieces of wood, the hinge on the door, you have the hinge on the door. It's the object that helps the door to open and close. And it's very flexible in English. For example, your decision hinges on the information. Your decision hinges on the information. It depends on. Let me write this example. Your decision hinges on the information. And this basically means depends on. So your decision hinges on, depends on. So that's a very important expression in English for sure. Okay. Therefore, a hinge in the middle. And although the basic idea, the simple basic idea is original, maybe, but the key word here is although. Although is a contrast. So I think 12 is difficult, but the only option for 12, what do you think? Do you have an idea? For me, it's the negative. So the basic idea is not original. It's an old idea. It's not an original idea. However, the inventor has created a clever variation. So number 12, I think, is not. So it's not original. Tricky, a little tricky. The inventor has created an especially clever variation, combining compactness. So the verb here is to combine. Typically, the verb combine is with the preposition with, and that's correct here, with. Combine. When you make food, a plate, a dish, you combine pasta with meat. Combine with, and that is correct here. So we need another word, combining compactness. Adjective is compact, but the noun is compactness, like swiftness. The suffix ness typically represents the noun. And convenience, so compactness, convenience, together. It's very simple. Number 13 is very simple, very easy. And the only option is and. So number 13, I think the answer is and. Combines compactness and convenience with smart design. Okay, number 14. Recently, folding bicycles, become is the verb. Become in the present, in the past, became in the participle, the third column, become. Become, became, become. So here we have the infinitive or the participle. And with the participle, we normally have an extra auxiliary verb. And I think we need an auxiliary verb here. The auxiliary possibilities are the verb to be, the verb to do, and the verb to have. The verb to be is for the passive or the continuous. The verb to do is for emphasis or the past or the question, and the verb to have in the auxiliary is the present perfect or the past perfect. And I think it's the present perfect because recently it started in the past and it continues to be relevant. So for me, the best option here is the present perfect. Have become. Tricky, but number 14 I think is have become, very popular in Japan, particularly in congested urban areas like Tokyo. A city, remember the previous example, the race track in France, relative pronoun. So I think here we need another example of the relative pronoun, and the relative pronoun for the city is where. So I think the only option, the only possibility for number 15 is where. A city where every square centimeter of space is in great demand. So I think the only option for 15 is a city where. Okay. And Japanese, we continue. Japanese cyclists need to be able to have the ability to store their bikes in tiny areas at home or in the office. 16 is tricky. So what do you think is the answer for 16? It's a long sentence. Basically, the second part of the sentence is dependent on the first. So it's a big advantage if you want to take the bicycle on the metro, on the underground, a folding bicycle is a big advantage. So number 16 is a conditional. And for the conditional, it's typical the word if. So if you should want, a little more formal, to take your bicycle on the underground, a folding model is a big advantage. So number 16, I think, is the only option is the word if. So I think that is the correct answer, if. Okay, and the answers, let me check. Yeah, give me one moment because the answers are, there's 160 pages. So let me try to enter the correct page here, just to give us an idea to move. Actually, I'm going to move all the way to the bottom of this document to find the answers. Okay, this was test 1. The answer for test 1 is can or may, number 9, that's correct. Number 10 was so, that's correct. I don't know if you can see this very well. Number 11 is with, that's correct. Number 12 is not. You have 3 possibilities: not, hardly, or scarcely, and that's very advanced. Hardly and scarcely are more advanced English. And number 13 is have, and 13 is and 14 is have. Correct. Number 15 is where, and number 16 is if. Okay, so we have everything correct in the right position. So that's very, very good. Very good exercise and good practice. So this is the second part of the use of English in the exam for Cambridge. And this lesson is part of my group of lessons every week designed to prepare people for the Cambridge exams. Cambridge have different levels. You have the A1, the A2, the B1, the B2, the C1, C2. This is B2. It's called the first certificate exam. And very, very interesting exam. Okay, and this book is also a very interesting book. It's possible to download this book. The name is The Teacher's Handbook for the B2 FCE. So this paper, there's different papers. There's a listening paper, a writing paper, speaking paper, reading and use of English. So there's 4 different papers and 5 topics because there's 2 topics here. and it's necessary to prepare for every part of the exam. It's a very popular exam. It's very important. A lot of people require this exam. It is similar to the IELTS in terms of importance, but I have maybe 10, 11 years experience preparing this exam, and I enjoy it. So every Saturday, I plan to give a lesson dedicated to this exam. So already we did part 1, and today we did part 2. Next we will do part 3 and part 4, etc., etc. So little by little, hopefully this lesson will help. This book explains each part in detail. So the next page, it explains part 1, what is part 1, what is part 2. But also it gives you advice, how to prepare in general, the best way to prepare for the exam, for the use of English and the reading in general. But more specifically, how to prepare for part 1. The Cambridge, official Cambridge advice here about preparing for the use of English part 1 and the use of English part 2. So today we looked at part 2. So let me explain this little section here. This is the official advice about preparation for the Cambridge use of English part 2 we practiced today. So let me read this very quickly. As in part 1, candidates need to read the words which follow the space. Okay, so the next word maybe is a preposition, and that's an indicator or a clue. Also the word that comes before the space. You should make sure that it agrees with the subject. So if the verb is conjugated in the third person, it's necessary it agrees with the subject if it's a verb. Or if it's an article, it should be a noun. To keep in mind the text in total. So keep the overall, the general idea in mind always as well. Make your students aware or conscious that they must only use one word. Okay, never abbreviations, and possibly you can do a contraction with cannot, can't, possibly. So normally no contractions, normally no contractions, except can't or cannot. Okay, that's the only exception for the contractions, can or cannot. So I'll just fix my light. Okay, so we continue a little now to the next tip, and that's it. I think that's all the advice for part 2. Yeah, simple as that. Yeah, that's it. So this book is very interesting, very interesting, because it gives you the specific advice for each particular section. So that's it for today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. Remember, everything is free. I am teaching for free at the moment, but I need your support, and I need the support of people and businesses and companies. So at the moment, I'm contacting businesses, contacting organizations, contacting charities, educational charities, to try and support me and support this project. And of course, it's necessary for me to have support. So if you want to help me, if you want to support me, it's possible you can make an international donation, an international transfer with the bank or with PayPal. The PayPal information is on my Facebook page, and you can donate if you're in a different part of the world as well. So a small donation will help me a lot, and my plan is to continue every week, with content, and hopefully you can enjoy and you can learn. So if you can support me, please go to the Facebook page and contribute and make a donation for me there, please, if you can. Great. So again, if you have a question, it's possible on WhatsApp. You can contact me on WhatsApp if you have a question about the lessons, a question about the Facebook page, an idea. Please give me your feedback and give me your idea on the Facebook page, and you can contact me on WhatsApp if you wish. Fantastic. Questions. Do you have any questions here? And I see the internet is a bit slow for you, Pom Lee. I hope the connection is okay, and I don't know if it's your connection or my connection, but I hope it's okay. And crew ma'am, thank you so much as well for your comments. And Fitsanuluk, very good. So thank you, Pom Lee, for your comments as well. So thank you everybody for your participation, for your action, and I'll just say thank you here because I appreciate it, and hopefully you can enjoy the lessons and the content. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend, have a good Saturday, and hopefully you will see my next lessons next week. Tomorrow I will give you the information for the schedule and the timetable. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and hopefully talk to you soon. Bye bye.